and start learning about it because I thought it was so cool. Like I literally was intrigued by the process and I was intrigued about how it was made. And so I made a lot of friends over the past 6 months. And so I said, look, I'm having this situation. I can make logos. Let me help you make logos. I'll make them super cheap. And that's what happened. And so people started liking what I was doing. And what only needed to be a few dollars ended up being more than I had ever imagined. I needed a little bit of money, and I ended up getting triple of what I needed. So people started really loving what I was doing. And so I literally targeted for 6 months the soaping community. That's all I focused on. And everybody just loved it. And one of the things that I loved about Niching Down was the fact that I needed to do similar style. So it was easy for me to make logos because everybody wanted a similar style.
Right.
And so that's basically what I did. And so right now I'm still in the soaping community, but I'm branching out into the handmade community so that I can help people who are on Etsy and things that people handmade things, because I have a passion for things that are handmade, such as Artsy Baby. Like somebody like her would be a perfect client for me, because I think when something is made with your own two hands, I think that's just awesome. I think that's one of the best things that we can do is just create a craft with our own two hands. It doesn't even matter if it's digital or not, or if it's a physical product. It's beautiful. To me, I think that's so beautiful, and I'm so happy to be working with people who create things like soap. And I know soap might be something so silly, but to me, it's like this. To me, it's amazing. It's interesting.
I love soaps. So yeah, I'm one of those people that likes, like, you know, I like gardenia. So when I go out, I'm always looking for gardenia soaps and gardenia candles and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And in my heart, I just said this to my hairdresser, who's actually out there, Vani. In my heart, I want to be a Pinterest person. Like, I want to make stuff. I want to go on Pinterest and I want to find something really amazing and I want to make it, but I don't have that kind of time. So,
yes, exactly.
It's a dream. I have a lot of Pinterest boards that have cool ideas, and that's about it. So yeah, it's like on my free time, whenever that is, I pin stuff for, inspiration. Very cool. So I know that we have a lot of people in the chat area. If you guys have a question, you can do a # and a Q, and I'll type it down so you guys can see, and that will give us the questions. If there's any questions that you guys have, just type it and it'll highlight it for us so we can see what you said. And if your username is not your name, then type your name for us. Pinterest vision boards. Yes, Lena. Pinterest vision boards are actually really cool. And, vision boards also are a good way to use to narrow down like who your target client is. So I don't use, I'm like a paper person. I like to see things. So I use like real vision boards. But I do like the idea of the vision board for, keeping your focus on like what you want for the year. And I made a really cool video. If you guys want to follow me, if you look on my profile, my web address is on there. Check my email out. There's a little bit of video that I did about some of the things I've manifested through vision boards, which I think is super cool. Anyway, so back to niching. This is a very specific question for Christy, because how do you target your clients? Like, how are you reaching people now for what you do? Because I know in the group that we're in, where the group I met you in, it's a very broad group of a lot of different entrepreneurs. But when you're trying to reach your target person, which is a wedding planner, where are you finding your people at?
A lot of Facebook groups. There are specifically ones for wedding planners. And of course, there's some general ones for wedding professionals in general. And of course, wedding planners are lingering in those groups. I actually started one myself because it was hard to find them at first. So I have one Facebook group called Wedding Planner Society. And it grew, almost 400 people in just a few months. So not too shabby. I kept in touch with some of my old, wedding professionals. So I recontacted them. when I went back into the niche. And I don't know.
Just typing that in.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of, it's amazing how it's kind of like a magnet once you start going in there and, you know, searching them out, and they kind of find you and you kind of find each other.
Right.
But yeah.
Right. Because that's what we're looking for, is we want to find people like us, or people, you know, that are have similar things going on to what we're doing in our business.
Right.
So I think that's the big thing. Is I feel like I tell all my clients, your client is usually like a version of yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, it's like someone that's like you, or, you know, that has a passion or something that you're passionate about. So I think somewhere in there, there's something to be said about the person that we're helping, or the person that we're serving is usually like a version of ourselves, right, or an experience, you know? So we did have one question from the group, which is from Natasha. She says, how did you get over the fear of getting out there? What do you mean by getting out there? Like getting out into the interwebs, like in groups, or just reaching out to people? Can you give us a little bit more, Natasha? So I think that's somebody said, Kylie said, or at least a version of you at some point in the journey. Yes. So Natasha says, meeting and reaching out to people in your niche. So how did you go about doing that? And any of you guys can jump in and answer that.
Okay, I'll go. I think, like I said before, I kind of started with my friends and with places mm-hmm. that I was already going. Like, I'm part of a baby wearing group, so I would put on slippers on my daughter, and people would be like, "Oh, where'd you get those?" And I'd say, "Hey, I made them. Here's a business card," you know. And I did that at my baby and mom yoga class a few weeks ago. Somebody asked me the same thing.
That's awesome.
And so I ended up giving out like 20 business cards. So I kind of targeted places that I would just go, because I am kind of like my target client. So it's been good, and that's been a lot of word of mouth from those people. And I think that since they know me, they trust me, and so even though my business is new, they knew me, and so they're not scared to buy from you. And then they'll tell their friends that, and then they'll come and buy from you. So it just kind of grows from there.
Very cool. Very cool. So do you feel like, because I know a lot of, and I'll leave this for Christy or Ivy. Do you ever call you Ivy or Evelyn?
Ivy's fine. I prefer Ivy.
Okay. So I'm going to let you guys kind of answer this particular one. But when you guys are trying to reach your clients, I mean, clearly we have friends and we want to tell our friends and all the people that we know what we do. But a lot of times it's like our friends don't necessarily need our services. So how do you, I think sometimes we are speaking to the people that are our friends and they're not responding, and we get frustrated. I mean, I know that for certain things that I've done in the past. So do you feel like do you market to your friends, or do you just share and then your friends know that this is what you do and then they might refer you? Like, how do you do that with your friends? Because I know a lot of people use their own personal social media to reach people that might need their services or products.
Well, for me, like I said, I was already in the community that I wanted to serve before I even thought of making logos or making any graphic design. And so one day I just asked the people who I was already becoming friends with, hey, I need a little bit of money. I'm having a situation. Help me out. I will make you a logo in exchange. And that's how I started doing it. So I don't target my friends, like the friends that I've met outside of the soaping community, just my everyday friends. I don't target them at all, because I know that they don't need my services, or maybe they don't even want to hire me. I've had some friends of mine still go to Fiverr or Etsy for a logo. So I target the people who I think would be at service with me and who are aligned with me, rather than the people that I directly know.
That's cool. Yeah. I mean, my experience has been really broad. So I feel like I have people from all parts of my life that are part of my Facebook community. And I use Facebook a lot for marketing. But I also have my newsletter. I tend to share with everyone what I do, because after a while, people will consider you an expert in your field or a thought leader. And even though they may not need your services, they might refer you to someone else because they know that that's like your thing, you know, or that they trust you, which is always good if someone trusts you, because I have, like I said, been a serial entrepreneur and done several different things. And I'm looking across the top of the screen and it makes me feel really good that I have people that I know from different parts of my life that have come on here because they trust who I am and what I've done. And they're willing to, you know, kind of follow me along in the journey and refer people to me in my business. So I think that's a big thing. But I always have this question asked because a lot of people will try to market themselves to people that are within their, you know, that are in their circle of friends, but that's not really beneficial for everyone. Like, it doesn't get you very far, right?
No.
So that's one of the things that I think with niching is really difficult, because a lot of people will not realize that, yes, they are your friends, but they may not be your people, right? What were you going to say, Christy?
I made new friends.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's the thing. You make new friends. So I think one of Katina, she's down at Desk of Davenport. She says, I never market to my friends. So Katina and I have done a blab together, and Katina has like her, you know, she has her way of marketing things and I have my way of marketing things, and we both had people that were on our blab. But I do market a lot to my Facebook world because I've traveled and been all around the world, and I feel like, not the world, but, you know, like the United States, and I have people all over that could benefit from what it is that I do, and that know people who can share that message. But when I'm looking for clients, I don't necessarily look to my friends as my clients. You know what I mean? I definitely go out there and look for, I'm in mommy groups, and that's how I find my target client, because most of my clients are, you know, either moms or, you know, women with families. And I say that because some of them are not necessarily moms, but they have, you know, people that they care for. And they're trying to juggle like family and starting a business. And they either want to leave their 9-to-5 or they're just trying to make this thing work so they don't have to go back to their 9-to-5. So that's usually my group of people that I work with. And so for me, I think that's the biggest question I get is like, how do you reach your people, you know, and how do you talk to your people? Like, do you talk to your people like do you talk to your people like you're selling to them, or how do you talk to your people? This is actually a good question. I'm asking. Someone said, is anyone here in MLM? So there's no one on our panel that's in MLM, but there may be some in our chat. So I'll let anyone that's in the chat answer that. But yeah, when you're talking to your people, how are you connecting with them? Because now you're in a group that is, you know, let's say a whole new world, right? You go into this group, and then how are you connecting with people?
For me, I share a lot of information, a lot of content with them. Mm-hmm. So I don't go in selling, most definitely not. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a hard seller. So I share a lot of information, and if it leads them, you know, to asking questions, I obviously answer those. And, you know, eventually a lot of times that leads to building a relationship and leads to business in the end.
Very cool. Unique, Christy, right? And what do you do, Christy? I see she posted, she uses an elevator pitch. She uses signage on her vehicle, an unforgettable postcard with a picture. Pictures are so important. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, network groups. Yes. So I don't know if Christy's still out there, but she can let me know what she does. She's a special event planner. Oh. Okay. Very cool. Very cool. So, do you work so you're planning local events then, to where you are. And I think that's pretty cool. So how do you reach people? And I'm going to let her kind of answer that. So when you're joining these groups, like Christy said, I think that's the most important thing, is providing value. Like, and I struggle with Facebook sometimes because I know we've all experienced that person that wants to share their business, but it's such a hard sale. You know, it's like, like they're like, I call them like keyboard gangsters, you know, and it's like, it's like, I want to love you and I want to love your business, but can I get to know you first?
Right.
You know, like, it's like, I don't kiss on the first date.
It's like dating. Exactly. It's like dating. You don't show up with an engagement ring.
Right. So developing those relationships is like super, super key. And, like with Jacqueline, do you, most of what you're doing with your shoes, are you doing that locally or are you doing it online or?
Yeah, I'm trying mostly locally because eventually I want to try and get into farmers markets and craft shows. And so I want to start that here before I start going to big ones and going out far. So Etsy is that's my main thing right now. But when I first had the idea, I saw it at farmers markets and stuff, and I saw other people selling baby stuff, and I was like, I could do that, but I could do homemade stuff, and I can do original designs, and so that's what I want to do. That's actually one of my goals for this year is to get into one of the big farmers markets and downtown here. I mean, you've been here; it's like pretty touristy, so that could be something.
Oh, and
too.
There's like people love that like handmade stuff, like people just love it. Even if you feel like, oh, I can't afford it or whatever, like you want to see it and you want to touch it and you want to, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, if it's something that you feel like, oh, well, maybe I'm not going to buy that. Like for me, those little shoes, I felt like, oh, I know the person that made these and they're super cute and like I can throw them in the wash. Like that was like probably the most exciting part about it, because they're easy to clean and just that they were super cute. Like I couldn't find anything like that, just anywhere. So I think that's awesome. And I mean, for you, you're going to be going face to face and talking to people and you have a product that you can physically, show them. When you're providing a service, sometimes I think that can be challenging. So, to your advantage, you have like, something people can touch, feel, and, smell, for lack of a better way to describe that. So I know Christy was saying you do, you were saying you provide content. So you are helping people. You're showing them that you're an expert at what you do.
Right.
And that you're there to serve them. And so, for you guys that are out there, and I'm going to let Christy talk about this in just one second, but one of the things I want to encourage you is most of the time people cannot do what you do. It doesn't matter how much information you give them. They're too overwhelmed with trying to do their business that the DIY will get them so far, but then they're going to need to call in an expert to help them. And so, if you're helping them and you're giving information and you're doing all those things, it's so helpful when they get to that point where they're like, okay, I've done everything I can do. I need help. Like I need to call in a pro here. And they're going to be like, oh my gosh, like Christy's always posting stuff. She's always answering questions. Like she's always there. And so I'm going to use her as my resource. And so honestly, that's how I connect with people. Like the people that are doing that, those are, you guys are the ones that are on here right now because I see you guys sharing and offering resources. And, even Jacqueline during the holidays, she was like, hey, everybody in this group, here's this awesome, amazing discount. Buy some shoes, for Christmas for your baby. And she actually has a discount code for you guys if you want to buy some shoes, if you got little ones. So I'll have her share that. If you want, Jacqueline, you can type it in the chat box. You can type the link your and the code that they can use if they want to buy some of the cute little shoesies. But Chrissy, what are you like? How are you what are you telling people? Like you're like, I mean, how are you sharing? I think that's important.
Gosh, it's a process, but like every time I write an article and I post it to my blog, that gets shared with my different Facebook groups. I go in and, I interact with them. I answer questions. Some of it's not even about copywriting or writing web copy. I mean, sometimes they're asking questions about, being a wedding planner, advice on dealing with a client or, whatever. Since I have that experience, I can chime in and, give my opinion or give advice or, use my experience. And again, it's just sharing that information. I do some where they have to opt into my list, to get some of the content. But a lot of times I'll just post like a topic, a headline or whatever, and a link to the blog. I also like to share other people's content. So if I run across really good articles, I'll go in and I'll share that, hey, I found this. It's, great tips. That's also a nice way to do it without even having to, come up with your own content. So.
Right. Very cool. Yeah, I think so. The rule of thumb is like 80-20. So like 80% sharing of everything other than your business.
Right.
And then that 20% sharing like about your business.
Right.
And I think we have it so wrong in this world because everyone thinks we have to do 80% sharing of our business and then, 20% sharing of other things. So, Lena says she can't understand a word. Can you guys not hear me?
I can hear you.
I can.
Yeah. In the chat, can somebody let me know if you guys can hear us clearly? Okay. They're saying they can. Lena, you might have a bad connection. Well, she can't hear me, so I probably need to type that. You can't hear me? Here, let me talk to you more. So yeah, I think that's probably the biggest challenge is figuring out what to share. So one of the things I know with finding our target client is we have to understand who our target client is. And I'm going to let you guys kind of tell me who your target client is. Like, I know you can say my target client is me, but I can kind of tell you who my target client is. I always say my target client is like 37 or 38 years old. She loves wine. She has kids. She's at home. She's trying to not have to go back to her 9 to 5. She has, she's a creative and she has a passion for, art and creativity. She is, looking to make her business her full-time, career. She likes Scandal or Grey's Anatomy. And, and she's got to clearly like someone who's, got this kind of brand of crazy going on because I'm like this. And one of my clients is out there and she'll tell you, this is me. Like, this is my personality. And, I'm a work in progress. I cuss a little bit, but I try not to. And, but, and I like to encourage my clients when I'm helping them with their brands, but I also like to, sometimes you have to give them a, push in the butt. Like, hey, it's time to go. Like, you got to do this. This is where we're going. This is the direction you're going in. Get off your butt, do the blog, get out there, talk to the people, and so I wouldn't necessarily work with somebody who was passive. Like, that probably wouldn't be a good client for me, right? So when I'm communicating with my clients, I'm kind of telling them like this, this is how I'm talking to them. And so hopefully they connect with me. And I wouldn't say like, okay, let's work together on your brand. Like, that's totally not me, right? So so my client lives in a lot of mompreneur communities and also in a lot of business groups. I also make sure that I let people know that I'm a mom. So I post lots of pictures of me and my little girl and let them know, like, here I am wearing my baby and trying to get work done. Like, this is the kind of person I'm trying to work with, someone who clearly understands, like, it takes a lot to make all this happen when you have, like, littles at home. So I'm going to let you guys kind of tell me who your person is. What does she look like, he look like, or, I'm going to let Jacqueline go because she's cheesing at the top.
My ideal client, a mom of young kids, because my shoes are for infants to toddlers up to size 3T. So mom of young kids. And I really want my clients to appreciate what I do. So someone who appreciates handmade baby shoes, someone who appreciates just handmade everything. Right. and appreciates the organic aspect of my fabrics and appreciates the work that goes into it by printing my husband's designs this season, or all the new artists that are going to be printed. Somebody who appreciates art and appreciates the fact that we thought about this and we're doing this from scratch from the very beginning. We're printing it on the fabric. We're not just buying some of the fabrics we are buying, but like the limited edition ones, we're printing it on the fabric. We're starting it from the very beginning. And I don't want somebody who just doesn't care about that. Like, I like that my clients really do appreciate that.
Yeah, so. Very cool. Do you have an age group do you feel like there's an age demographic for your mom?
Well, I mean, I don't think so, because I'm only 25, and then moms have kids that are a lot older than me and a lot younger than me. So I don't think there's really an age group. And I think it's funny because even I was doing this on Facebook, when you do an ad, you could actually put in the demographic, and then you could see the analytics afterwards. And a lot of people that were going and clicking on my website were grandma age. So
that's telling you something though, because you think someone who's that age appreciates handmade things, right? Heirlooms, things you can pass down, or unique things. Not a lot of people are crocheting and those kinds of things. It's it's kind of like a lost art, but then Pinterest came along. Right. And so then everybody's a crafter now, right?
So I think that was cool that it kind of showed me who was really interested in my stuff. Cool. Because it ranged, you could tell it was a lot of moms, and then also a lot of older women who I guess were buying for their grandkids. So
nice. Yeah. Very cool. Christy, can you kind of share with us who your person would be?
Yeah. Most of my clients they work usually in the bigger cities. There's not a ton of them that come from the smaller towns, but they usually are, they're organized people. They love to see, their hard work, pull off these events. They work all week and they pull these events off all weekend. The age demographics are usually mid-20s to mid-40s. They're fashionable. They, like to grab a cup of Joe at Starbucks or pop open, a bottle of champagne. Most of them are business owners. So most of them are entrepreneurs, and a lot of them do have a small team. So they may have someone that works on their marketing, but a lot of them do it themselves. So they're looking for someone that can either teach them how to do it, or can, take it off their hands and do it for them. So that's pretty much.
So do you offer different types of services? Do you teach copywriting, and do you also do copywriting? Do you consult and
I do.
Coach?
I do. I have do it for you and do it yourself option. So it kind of goes both ways. A lot of times what will happen is kind of what you said. They'll come in and say, I want to do it myself, and they'll start to learn it, and then they realize, I can't do this, or I don't want to do it, or I don't have time to do it, and so then they'll hire me from there. But I have a lot of clients that do. They come in, they learn it, and they do it. Or they have someone on their team learn it, and then they take care of the copywriting from there.
Very cool. If you guys are out there and you see the little hand signs that are at the bottom of the on the right hand bottom of the screen, and you like what we're saying, give us some love. That's going to be my thing, I think, because I say that all the time. Actually, if I send emails out, sometimes I put a lot of whoop whoops in them. So somebody asked, do you suggest we create a business Facebook? And that's Kashetta. Okay. Just want to let you know, it's not that I can't read. I just can't see, and I'm waiting for my glasses. So when I'm looking at this, I'm like, so do you suggest we create a business Facebook page? I do. I think it's important. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Facebook is such a stressful little place sometimes, I think, with marketing your business. And sometimes it may feel like no one's looking at you, on your Facebook page. But the thing is, it's the place where people go to make sure that you are for real. If you're interacting with them on Facebook, everyone goes to Facebook to kind of make sure, you're a real person. You know what I mean? You're legit. And I don't think it matters if you have 100 friends or, 2,000 friends or, likes. I think what matters is that you're consistent, that you're on there, and that it represents your brand. You know, I think that's really important. The other thing is it's a good way. There are some legal parts, and I can't really talk about it because I don't know enough. You know, I'm not an expert on it, but I know that there's a lot of information out there about not really using Facebook to market your sell on Facebook. People do it all the time, and I don't know that they could really stop that from happening. But I think it's really important to have those two things separate. And you can always share stuff from your business page to your personal page, which is kind of what I do. And that helps my page get more eyes because I have more friends than followers on Facebook, on my Facebook page. So, I mean, I'll let you guys kind of chime in as far as like your Facebook page and, you know, how that works. Now, if you're doing groups, which we were talking about, getting into Facebook groups that are for your niche or niche specific, then you have to use your personal page because you can't be a part of a group with a business page. But I'll let you guys kind of chime in. Ivy, if you want to talk a little bit about, you know, how you use your Facebook page to kind of reach your target people.
All right. I don't have a website right now. And at the beginning, I wasn't planning on taking this seriously. It just so happened to give me an opportunity to be taken seriously. So I'm using my Facebook page right now as more of a portfolio, kind of like showing every time I make a logo, just showing it off like, oh, I work with this lovely woman and this is the logo. If you're ready to work with me, I'm here, you know, kind of like that. So that's what I've been basically using my Facebook page as, not so much as anything else but that, mostly a portfolio.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. Tanya says, definitely, you don't want your kids on your business page. So I agree and disagree because my clients are moms. And so I do share my family with my clients. Exactly. So if I was, so I've done different things before. I had a nonprofit where I was working with domestic violence survivors, and I wouldn't share pictures of my kids there. You know, I mean, that would be weird, right? But I think that with what I do, especially because I'm helping other mommy business owners, it's important to show that I am living the life that they're living and that I understand the struggles that they are experiencing. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you do, you're serving someone by helping them with their struggle. So today, Vani is out there. She's my hairdresser. She helped me with my struggle. I'm just saying. My struggle was that I do not have time to go get my hair done. And so my husband was able to stay with my daughter today, and it took some time, and I was like totally stressed out, but I went and I had it done, and she was very patient with me as I was like texting and, you know, checking in and making sure my child was breathing and all that kind of stuff. Because it's my first baby, and I don't know what to do with myself sometimes. You know, I get a little nervous. But, you know, everyone, no matter what you do, you are working with a client that has a struggle. And so for you guys that are out there on the interwebs, on the chat, I think that's a good thing. And Tanya says, yeah, in wedding planning, there's absolutely no relevancy to posting pictures of your kids. So, and thank you. I like my hair. And this is new for me. I never dye. I always go natural, but now my hair is going gray and I'm getting old. I'm just getting old, people. But tell me a little bit. So Christy, with you, like when you're using you're in groups and you're sharing information, how are you doing more sharing on your Facebook page or more sharing on in the groups? Or
I do a combination. I usually share it to my Facebook page or my business page first.
Okay.
And then it's kind of complicated because you don't want to like necessarily share like the same thing over and over and over again in all the different groups and all the different pages. So I kind of separate it out. So what I might share on my Facebook page today, I might share in my groups next week or 2 days from now or 3 days from now. But yeah, I do share on both. I don't do any personal sharing usually on my Facebook page. In my group, my Wedding Planner Society group, on a very small occasion, I might mix a little bit of personal with, I have 2 girls too. So I might say something about the girls or something like that. And I think it just gives me a human side. People realize, I'm human. I don't only work with moms, but a lot of my wedding planners are moms. So I have a little bit of a different angle than you, but yeah, that's basically what I share. I mean, I share basically the same information. There's some exclusive information that I only share, on my page or in my particular Facebook group versus, the general population, but.
Very cool.
But I have a website, so I don't exclusively use it, for promoting stuff, but more for sharing.
Right. So I think, one of with the niching down or, just targeting your client, I think some of the takeaways from what you guys are saying is, finding groups that have your, people that would be interested in your services. Right. And sharing information that's less, what's the word? Salesy.
It's never about you. It's all about
teaching, informative.
Always about them.
It's always about them.
Always about them. Yes.
Right. And so, hi, Realty Trees. So yeah, I think just having, I think that's the thing. It's about what you share. I tend to share a lot of the behind the scenes because people like that for some reason. So it's just what has worked for me is sharing that authentic behind the scenes side of myself. And it's so funny because my videos, I look like a homeless person and then I'm like on a late night chat looking like this. So it's kind of ironic, but usually I'm just like, here I am with my kids strapped on me and I'm all sweaty and I got a bun on the top of my head. And, but people, my people like that about me. So then I think of like someone like Christy, I feel like you might need to be more polished.
Right? Maybe a little bit, but I one of my things is I write like I talk, and I teach people to do that, to be yourself, to be authentic, to be genuine. So, if you go into my, blog, or if you're on my, email list, you'll see very, very quickly that it's very conversational. So I don't necessarily cuss or things like that, but I mean, I definitely talk. I mean, when I write, I talk like I'm having a conversation with someone. So it's sort of polished, but not really.
Okay. Someone said, can someone talk a little bit about closing the deal? That seems to be the problem. I think are you closing the deal? Are you selling your services on Facebook? What do you do, Kashetta? You can write it in the chat. Are you trying to sell your services online? Like, are you just cold selling, or are you already have a relationship with this person and you're just trying to figure out how to get them to exchange dollars with you? A little bit of both. What do you do, Kashetta? I think you said that and I may have lost that in my mommy brain. It works. Okay. So I think when you are, okay, so one of the things, and I'm not a MLM expert at all, but I am an expert, I feel, in relationship building. And I think that anything you do has to start from an authentic relationship. And so what I find with a lot of, and I buy a lot of stuff, like I'm like Jamberry, because all my friends sell stuff and I'm like, yeah, okay, I want to support you and I want to buy all this stuff. So I do Isagenix, I do Jamberry, I do all these different things, and I only do stuff that I like though. Like if I don't like it, I'm not going to try it. And I also don't like people to sell me stuff. So that's a big thing for me. Like, I want to develop a relationship with you, and I want to figure out how this is going to help me. So I will give you a good example. It works. Or not for It Works, but for something that I experienced. I have a friend who sells oils, and it's an MLM. But they do a webinar, and honestly, after this it was like a 30-minute webinar, and she basically was like, this is why you need oils. This is going to help you, live a better life. It's going to make everyone in your house, healthy, and your babies are going to sleep all night long because you're going to put lavender on them, and you're going to be calm and balanced. And I felt like, oh my gosh, like, yeah, sign me up for that. Like, I need that. I needed that yesterday. But she never once sold me anything. I mean, basically, she just educated me on what the different types of oils do. And I could have went on Amazon and bought those same oils. Does that make sense? So everything you do, I think, has to be focused on helping that, particular person or that particular group of people, and not from a self-serving place. Like, it really has to be like, I am passionate about this. I know that it works, and I know that it can help you. So I don't know, Kashetta, if you are working with, I'm thinking of what you do, and I'm like, gosh, I didn't use anything like that, but I'm thinking maybe somebody who just had a baby, or maybe somebody who's, that wants to go and wrap themselves, right? Because it's a wrap that you wear and lose weight, I think. So things like that. So I think it's sharing the benefits of what you do, and then making it fun, and not making people feel like they are gonna, like, you're selling them something. I think that's really a challenge sometimes in the world that we live in right now, is there's just so many messages, so many things coming at us. So I don't know if that was helpful, but I think definitely coming from a more teaching standpoint and helping people learn about the products and how it can help them, and also showing people the lifestyle they can have if they use your products. So, if you're like, here I am in my bikini.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sitting by the pool because I have my It Works wrap last night. Like, I might actually buy that from you, right? Because it makes me feel like that's what I should do. But if you're like, hey, join my party, I'll give you some whatever rewards for you getting people to buy the products. And, like, none of that is going to entice me. Like, I want to know why this is going to make my life better, basically. Hold on. There's one question. And then I see, I do a lot of LinkedIn because I'm an addictions counselor. Yes, LinkedIn is really good. A lot of people don't put a lot of stock into LinkedIn sometimes because it's can feel stagnant. I'm going to turn around for 2 seconds because I need to plug my computer in. Hold on a second. But a lot of people may not put stock into LinkedIn, but LinkedIn is great, especially for service providers. So, especially, if you're doing addictions, if you're a psychologist, if you're a realtor, all these people are out there and they really do very well, especially if they're sharing information. So I'd love to hear what you're sharing on LinkedIn to connect with other people, because you're probably sharing some good articles or information about, how yoga can help with addiction and recovery. So tell me if I'm right, or tell me what you're sharing down at the bottom. Unique Event says, or Christy, she says, I don't really have a niche because everyone could be a client. Is that a bad thing? Or is that my niche? I'm always looking and fine tuning. So you said you are a photographer? I think I read that up top. You're a photographer? Hold on. Whoop, whoop. I should have said special event planner. I'm sorry. Okay, so special event planner. So what kind of events are you doing? And normally, I just want to say real quick before you answer that, normally there will be two guests and one open spot. But tonight, because it was my first night on and I was a little nervous, I'm going to be real. I was like, oh, I'm not ready for that. So normally there'll be like an open spot. But at the end, I'm going to let one of our gals jump off and be in the chat, and so one of you guys can jump on and be a
I can jump off. My phone's about to die.
Oh, okay. Can you stay in the chat? Or will you be gone?
You can tell me when.
Okay. All right. I'll see you in the chat. Okay. Perfect. You're perfect. You're fine now. Okay. So Breathe Yogi. Who is Breathe Yogi? That sounds so familiar. So she says, yes, I share articles and link to my website, gathering interest from counselors to obtain referrals. So I think that's real. And she has a very unique kind of business because she's working. Oh, it's Alana. Okay. I'm like, I think it's Alana. All right. So yes, she shares articles and links to her website. So she has a very unique, model for her business because she uses yoga to help with addiction recovery. And so that's a pretty cool niche. And I do you have men that come to you, Alana? I'd like to know that. That's a good. Special events, Christy. I think you were going to say something about that. She says she doesn't have a niche. And I think I said what kind of special events, but she didn't.
I'm a firm believer. This is just my opinion. That you really you can focus your business so much more, and on every single level when you do have a niche. Your messaging, your marketing, where you're talking to people, how you're talking to people. Everything.
Yeah.
It really, it makes me cringe when people say everyone is my customer. This can work for everyone. That may be true to some extent, but you can't market to everyone and you cannot reach everyone. So the best thing for your business
and I think
is
that
to
we
niche
are
and to focus.
Right. Yeah. And I think you don't appeal to everybody. Even as much as we want to, not everyone wants somebody going, whoop, 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 right?
I love that personally, but
not everyone wants that. I think that's the challenge is, you have to know who it is that who is aligned with you. And here's the even better thing. I'll be honest with you. If you're doing what you're doing and you are exchanging a day in your life to do this job and this business, you want to do it for the people you love to work with. Yeah. You don't want to do it to work with people you don't want to work with. So sometimes it's about thinking about who is that person that you just wake up every morning and feel like, oh my gosh, I love working with that person. Yeah. I love this group of people, and so that's an even better way to niche if you're having a hard time with really saying, okay, these are the people that this is my person. Sometimes it's like, who's my dream client? That's who I want to focus on. I have a dream client, and I wish I could clone her a million times, but it's taught me that because of her, it's helped me kind of see, okay, where, it's put borders around what I'm sharing and who I'm reaching out to, and kind of how to address them and talk to them. So, for example, I am a very authentic person and I share about myself, and I feel like I also attract people that are afraid to be that person. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense? So people want to channel my energy, right? They want to channel this into their business. And so, a lot of what I do is sharing how to be a personality, how to be your own person and your own, I hate to use the word authentic because I think we say that so much, but just how to keep it real in your business, because that's so super, super important. And I have all these, A, B, C, D, E, F, G's behind my name that I do not use, all my degrees and all that kind of stuff, because it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. When people ask me, they can go on LinkedIn, they can go on Google, they can go on these places, they can search my name, they can see my A, B, C, D, E, F, G if they really want to. I don't use it because that's not what matters. What matters is that I am working with people that I love to work with, and they are in love, for lack of a better word, with me and my brand. So I don't think, Christy, I think that's part of the soul searching is identifying your client and who it is that you would love to work with. And I actually have a client avatar sheet that I can send you if you want to follow me somewhere on my, I don't know what your screen looks like. I should have looked at this before. But if you go to my profile, you can go to my newsletter and just send me an email and say, hey, I want to know more about my client. And I can send you a form that you can use, and it's just a resource for you that I have. And that resource will help you kind of figure out who your clients are. So I don't know, is Natasha out there in the web still? She might be out there, I'm not sure. But Natasha is someone who has gone through that. She's gone through that process with me a few times. So we've sat down and we've looked at 2 different clients that she wanted to work with. They were very unique clients, and they were 2 different services. And so it was really a challenge. And I'm sure she would admit that it was really a challenge to say, wait a minute, I'm a photographer. I want to take pictures of everyone. And I was like, no, that's not going to work. Because when you speak to everyone, you speak to no one.
Yes.
I mean, it's just like,
yes.
So I'm gonna let Jacqueline kind of talk a little bit about, because I know with your shoes specifically, you said there was an older kind of, people that were looking at your Facebook ads. But when you're connecting with people in person and they're seeing your shoes, do you feel like you're reaching a specific kind of people or group of people?
Yeah,
or moms?
Definitely. It tends to be moms who do cloth diapers and baby wearing and natural moms, what you would call it.
So you got crunchy people.
Yeah, crunchy moms. That's pretty much what I've been encountering. I mean, I guess just the places I've been going. And also, since I want to start selling at the farmers markets, those are the type of people that are there already. So it's kind of just coming naturally. Like with sewing, I mean, I could sew and I could make runway dresses for, for models or whatever, but I don't want to deal with that type of people.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather deal with moms who want cute shoes for their babies. So even, I mean, like if you're doing event planning, like Christy's doing, the unique event designs, if you're doing event planning, I would kind of pick what you have the most fun doing. Because even though I can sew curtains, I sewed this seat cover behind me. I mean, even though I can do all that stuff, that's not what I have the most fun doing. So I picked what I enjoy the most, and it's just kind of come naturally from there.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. I mean, and that's cool, because it's hard. I mean, it's hard to say, I just want to do this. And I think you don't want to have to monetize. You don't have to monetize your joy. That's like my big thing. I tell people all the time. I'm like, just because you love something doesn't mean you have to monetize it. You want to monetize the thing that you're going to want to do every single day when you get up in the morning, And so, like you said, if you don't love making runway dresses and working with models, then that shouldn't be the thing that you do just because you're good at it. Right. So like, clearly something's happening to my screen.
Yeah.
Can you hear me still? Okay. So I know with and I don't know what your name is, Kay Harris. Can you put your name in? She says, what if you have multiple things in your business? I am a life coach, image consultant. Oh, I'm sorry, because it's going up and down. I'm a life coach, business consultant, image consultant, and a speaker, and I find it kind of hard to niche down. So I think that with all those things you do, you still kind of would reach the same. I mean, if you're a life coach, what's your life coaching about? And, are your people that you're doing life coach with, would those be the same people you're image consulting with? Hold on. I'm down to 2. I moved 1 to a separate site. Okay, Kim. Okay. So which are the 2 that you're doing, Kim? So she says she's working on, she's an image consultant, a life coach, and just that quick, just ran out of my brain, and a speaker. So I think it's important to know, like, who is the ideal person that you want to reach, and who would you, okay, so not necessarily self-esteem and goal setting. Okay. So the people who are doing your life coaching, they are not your image consultant people? I just want clarity on that. Because I think that's the hardest part. The thing is that we feel like we're doing all these different things, but that they don't work together. They can be, but not always. Okay. But do you feel like the type of person would be similar? That's the question. Because I think that we try to say that they're very different people. Yeah, but they're pretty much the same person. So, you know, I don't know how you guys do it, and you can share a little bit. Maybe Ivy has a way that she does it. I'm trying to give everyone an opportunity to talk a little bit. But I feel like the way you talk into the world, like the way you communicate, is how you attract the people that come to you. So, you know, clearly I'm like, whoop, whoop, this is my business. Here I am. I'm running around with my baby. I'm trying to do this video. I'm wearing my baby on my shoulder. It's not, I don't come across like, you know, I'm not stuffy. I don't have on a business suit. I have those pictures. They're totally not me. I don't want to work with that particular person. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to work with corporate, you know, I'm trying to work with, you know, people who are creative, that are working from home, and that they're trying to, you know, pursue their passion in a non-traditional way, you know. So stuffy suit is not going to be the thing for me. And I want somebody who is looking for someone that understands the dynamic of this crazy life, that when you're an entrepreneur, it doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes. You're up at night, you're doing this, you're running over there, you're doing a lot of tasks, right, by yourself. So that's how I speak to my people. I'm like, hey, yo, you out there? Oh my gosh, like I know it's real stressful and you're busy, but here's a quick video. I know she's screaming in the background. She's okay. And I'm like, and then my daughter's like, you know, she's in the baby gate, like taking her sippy cup and, you know, scraping it across. But that's true life for me, you know, and that's true life for a lot of entrepreneurs out there. So I think it's important to know how to speak to your person, and that will help you. She said, ding, hang raise, sounds so familiar. So yeah, I think that's how you're going to reach more people, is like, you want to work with people who are similar to you. So I think even with, you know, with Ivy, she was saying, she started soap making, right? She started with soap making, and she went from soap making to logo making, but she wants to work with people who have that similar passion to her, which is this handcrafted. And then the same thing with Christy. So we all kind of have that same thing where it's like, we went back to like what we loved and kind of weaved in ourselves and our personality into our service that we provide. And so that's how we're reaching our people. But somebody asked a question, which was, and I feel like I'm sorry because this screen is going, there's a lot of you out there, and I just want to say, thank you for joining. But yeah, I think the hardest thing is separating those things, right, ladies? Like to say, I don't want to serve everyone. I want to serve these people. Like, I think that is so challenging. So I'm going to let, you guys kind of give your final thoughts on niching, and kind of, you know, if you have like your two nuggets that you want to give about niching, I think that would be helpful.
I think for me, not niching could be stressful, because then you're trying to appeal to different audience, especially if you have a product-based business. Sometimes when I work with soapers, because one of the things that I do, and I'm doing this for free right now, is I give them consultation advice, like how to approach people and how to target people. And one of the things that I've noticed is that they try to target everybody. They think, well, my age group is anybody 20 to 60 who likes handmade products. And I'm like, no. And then they wonder why they don't get customers. And I tell them, when you need
20 to 60, wow.
When you serve one person, they feel like a breath of relief has been off their shoulder, because then they're like, good, I don't have to appeal to certain people. So I literally tell them, who do you want? And even within that, people have different vibes and different things. Even two people who sell the same type of products, such as soap, will have two different vibes. One might be more of a youthful vibe. One might be more of a luxurious, elegant vibe. And in that case, then you have to pick two different target markets. Like the youthful vibe might pick people in their 20s, people in their teens, and then the elegant vibe might be the people who are older, who are more well off. And I feel like when you niche down, you lift the stress off of your shoulder of having to appeal to different masses. You work with the people who you want to work with, and then you resonate with them. When you work with people who align with you, that's where the magic happens. That's really where the magic happens.
I like Ivy. She's young and not dated yet.
I'm only 24.
She's like, yay! I love it. So I think that's awesome. And I know Rachel is out there on the chat somewhere, Rachel Lee, and I had a little conversation with her, and she's a coach, and she coaches what she says entrepreneurs. And I was like, that's kind of interesting. So it's people who want to be entrepreneurs and are trying to leave their 9 to 5. And I'm like, yeah, it's pretty cool. And she's younger, than me. And I felt like she has, there are people who would be attracted to her, people would be attracted to me. And one of the things we had a conversation about was like, she was like, yeah, like you're running around with your baby and people are like attracted to that because it resonates with them, And so I think that's like, it has to be like what resonates with the person, like Ivy was saying. Because we don't resonate with everybody, even though we want to, we don't. I mean, I would love it if like everybody thought I was awesome. But the truth is, it's like some people think I'm annoying, and I'm okay with that. I'm not for everybody. You want to be like, you want to be a, what's the word? You want people to like acquire taste. You don't want to be like, just macaroni and cheese, right? You want to be like macaroni and truffles, so
yeah.
But I'm gonna let Christy kind of give your nuggets. Like I know we're past the top of the hour, and if you guys, as long as you guys want to stay on, I'm cool.
I got the 10%. I got my 10%. I want to be mindful. So I'm gonna just be in the chat. Alrighty. Okay, perfect. So if you're gonna step out of the chat, I just want to say thank you so much for joining us. Don't leave us. Stay in the chat, and I'm gonna Okay, perfect. And I'm gonna open up the seat in just 1 minute for somebody out there that wants to come on. Alrighty. So Christy, give me your nuggets.
Well, I'll just say this. I was targeting 2 niches before I niched down at the beginning of this year, and I was doing 2 totally different niches, and I'll give advice that was given to me. And it's similar to what you guys have been saying. Which niche do you love? And I said, I really love, the wedding industry. And that's, why I chose it. So again, I vibe with them. They vibe with me. I have walked a mile in their, stylish heels. So, and I know how to put it into words. So don't be afraid, to niche down, because that wasn't the niche that was making me money, when I decided to do it. It was actually my other niche. So now, because I love it and because I wasn't afraid and I am focused, I'm now making money with what I love. So, don't be afraid and just, really dive into
what you love. To niche.
Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to do it.
I think that's awesome. And the Alana, you were talking about like your people. Like I feel like, I feel like you could resonate with so many women who are out there that are, that feel like no one, the traditional like addiction recovery doesn't look right to them because it has the stigma associated with it of, the AA, kind of vibe or whatever. And I feel like, that this is such a amazing way for someone to get that healing and get those services without that stigma attached to, AA, although they would probably still need that. I'm not sure how thorough your program is, so I don't want to speak to that. But I feel like the stigma is a big thing that keeps people from, moving forward and getting resources. I mean, coming from domestic violence and my background with working with survivors and being a survivor, like I never wanted to go to any of those things that were like services in the community that made me feel like, ooh, it's gonna be like sketchy, weird people or, whatever, which is not. I mean, it's normal people, but it's just that we, media and the things that we see and hear is scary, you know, and so then you don't want to be associated with that, and you don't want people to know, you know, what you're right. Yes, I'm go to A, but I don't pigeonhole my people. Yeah, so you know, you get afraid of having people know like your business, right? Oh, we lost somebody. But yeah, so I don't know where she went. Maybe she'll come back. But I'm going to have Jacqueline kind of talk about her. I think I need to unlock this. Kind of give us your little nuggets around niching and how it's...
I think just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Or just because you can do everything doesn't mean you should. I think that's what I had a hard time with. And then once you finally just narrow it down, you're really going to be a lot happier because you can perfect that one section. It's still something you love to do. It's still something you're already good at, but you can perfect it. And therefore you can target your client and make more money from it.
So how do you keep it fresh? Like, because you only do shoes, like how do you, because I know some people are like, oh, well, I would get bored if I just did one thing, right? So how do you keep it fresh?
Well, I'm always looking for new fabrics. So I love doing that. That's fun to me. So whenever I see a new fabric, I'm automatically just making a new sample pair to go put on Etsy. And also with my limited edition shoes, that's so much fun, just being able to find an artist and then I'm working with the artist and actually designing the fabric with them. So it's always something new. I mean, it's never going to come out the same. So I just keep, you know, sorry, I just keep going with it and just keep thinking of new things. And it's just, it's fun.
So Natasha says, I worry about running out of photography ideas for boudoir and glam. I don't think you can ever run out of ideas because I think you can personalize each one. I mean, I would think if you're doing photo shoots, I would try to come up with a questionnaire that you use that can help you find out what's unique about your client, because then you can use that to bring into your photo shoots. I mean, that's what I would do.
I'm sure you do this already too, but just like searching on Pinterest and even just Google maybe. But I see a lot of beautiful, I have a friend who's a photographer and she did boudoir photos for me years and years ago. And we just searched on Pinterest together looking for some ideas because she wanted it for her portfolio, and we saw a lot. So, I mean, if you just keep searching and, you know, making those vision boards.
Awesome. All right, I'm going to take 5 minutes and just let someone from the outside world, I'm going to open up the seat. If you guys want to come in and ask any questions to either myself or our guest, and Ivy will be in the chat. I think I saw her, it said testing. But she'll be out in the chat, and then you guys can ask questions. It says open, I think. Is it open or locked? I'm not sure.
Open.
Okay, Ivy's there. Okay, so if you guys see the little open bar, you can click on it and you can call in. You don't have to do anything special except be able to see us on camera, and we can see you on your iPhone or your iPad or what have you. So if you have a question and you want to actually come on, don't be afraid. We don't bite. It's too late for biting, so it's like it's 8:15 California time, but I guess it's what, 11. Oh my gosh, it's late for you guys.
Past my bedtime.
I know. Well, yeah, it is late. I struggle with so I'm in California time, and then I struggle with a good time to do this. So, you know, if you guys can leave me in the chat too, like how, you know, if this was helpful, you know, if you have questions that you would like to see for future shows, please put it in the chat, because then I can go back in and kind of look at that and make sure that we are, you know, bringing you that information. I'm going to leave the seat a little bit longer, but I do want to take the time to just say thank you so much to Christy. Can you put your, type your website in? It's WebPlanner.
It's wedding.
Copy?
Yeah, Wedding Planner Copy.
Did I say that right? Oh, Wedding Planner Copy. Yeah, weddingplannercopy.com. And if you look at the image for this event, it has everyone's name on there and their business and how you can find them. So I hope that you guys will check out Christy, check out Iva Lynn, and at least show them some love, like their page, follow them on here. And then Jacqueline is artsybaby.com, and she also has an Etsy shop, which is it Etsy.artsybaby? Okay. Yeah, and she has a code for the mamas out there that want some. I know Vani said she wanted some baby shoes, and she has a code for our BizBlab people.
I'll type that in too.
Is it BizBlab? Yes, thanks. Thanks so much. You guys have been amazing. I think, if anything that was taken away from this, it's kind of like, don't be afraid to really find your people. I wrote an email today. I don't know. I have a few people out there that do get my newsletter. And part of my email was, I told my clients who they are. I basically said, this is a show that we're doing, and I want to show you that I understand this process by telling you who you are. And I said, and I basically said, like, you're more Target than Walmart. You're this, you're that. You like wine. And I think that part of it was kind of interesting, because I had people respond back and they were like, it's kind of creepy that you that you identify us by that. And I'm like, well, when you know who you want to work with, and you put that out into the world, then those people, it's like a magnet. Like, you just attract those people to you. So I think the takeaways from today is definitely find groups that are, ideal for your target market. So whether it's mom groups or, so if you're a photographer, you shouldn't be in a photography group looking for clients. You should be in a group where there are the type of women, like for Natasha, maybe you join a local moms group and you have women there that want to do boudoir because they're stay-at-home moms and they need a reawakening of their glam life, right? You feel dusty and old when you're at home messing around with your kids and you want to feel fabulous again. And so, maybe that's what you offer them, but you can't find those in a photography group. So you have to go where your people are, which is really big. Be engaging. As Christy said, teach, share with them, inspiration, talk about things that could be, helpful to them. So I think that, I just want to say thank you guys. This was my first blab. Woo, but I will be doing this every Thursday night. I hope it was helpful. Thanks everyone that says the chat was amazing. Really good stuff. I will be here back next Thursday. We are talking about, I want to say it's how to leave your 9 to 5. I don't have it in front of me, and that's probably bad, but I will go ahead and share it. If you subscribe to my channel on here, it will let you know when the next one is scheduled and what the topic is. And so every week we'll have 2 people, 2 guests, and then the open seat where somebody can hop on and be in the hot seat. And so thanks, Alana. Woo woo. So yeah, if you guys can please share, tweet, post on Facebook, and just tell people that it was awesome, and show everybody some love. I would appreciate it. And I will see you guys next week.
Right,
take care. Good night.